Okay guys, so Universal Mastery. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about something that everyone in the occult wants to fully understand, and everyone wants to reach this level of power. Okay, so what I'm going to be talking about is the breakdown of the great work. Basically meaning, what did Aleister Crowley mean by achieving the great work? Stay tuned. So, what Aleister Crowley meant about the great work is he meant communion with the Godhead. Okay? Now, for those of you who don't know any of the words that I just said, don't know what the fuck that means, that's completely fine. That's why you're watching this video, and I'm going to break it down for you. So, communion with your Godhead, communion with your holy guardian angel, communion with your daemon, communion with your higher self, communion with your true self. It all revolves around this same idea of what Aleister Crowley meant about achieving the great work. Now, this is literally what every occultist, meaning every person that wants to understand sacred wisdom and actually practices rituals, practices magic on black alchemy to transform self to reach higher levels of consciousness, this is the great work. The great work is making that connection to the higher self, bridging that conscious mind, bridging that gap from the conscious to the subconscious, meaning that you take your conscious and you start to explore your subconscious mind. You start to embrace the darker aspects of yourself. You start to really get in touch with this spirit that you are and only you are. It is an individual spirit that you have, that every single person has, but you have to understand that. You have to unlock it and you have to work for it. Okay? Because there's been lots of distractions since the day you were born to try and remove you from this higher self, from this Godhead, from this spiritual entity that you are. And this spiritual entity that you are has a name. You have a magical name, and you have a magical number attributed to that name. For example, my magical name is Arak Shakar, and my magical number is 47. That's why my Instagram handle is Jer47. And Arak Shakar was channeled to me ever since I got in touch with Lucifer, who I started working with pretty heavily and started doing some pretty advanced rituals and magic and alchemy with. And then he revealed my magical name to me, and then I started diving into it, so I started doing rituals on my magical name, and I actually made communion, meaning that in my mind's eye, I literally summoned and I saw what my own spirit is, my own higher self. And it is a dark being. It comes from darkness, okay? It's like a creature that is born but was always there, but it had to be reborn because of all the distractions since the day I was born, the day you were born. You have to rebirth it, essentially. And the way to do that is through the science of black alchemy. So I did that, and I seen it, and if I could describe what he looks like, well, he can take on many forms, and I call him a he just because that's the way I see it, but it's also a female too. It's feminine and masculine, but it's just about how I see it, how I want to perceive it, because it's my higher self. It's literally the spirit that is speaking to you right now. It is my own spirit. And also, it's intertwined with all my spirit guides. It's intertwined with Lucifer, Belial, Hecate, Lilith, many more, demons, angels, things in that nature. That's the great work, is achieving that state. Okay, that's what the great work is. It is achieving that gnosis, that you are literally the beyond a god of your own life, and that no external force can hinder that and can remove you from that. When you step into a full state of authority and power over your own reality. But I'll tell you this, from my experience with making powerful, strong communion with my higher self, there were some dark things that I had to come to realize about myself. Lots of dark things. I mean, once again, as I said, you have to go into black alchemy to unlock this ability within yourself. One of the darkest things and hardest things for me that I experienced was I had to come to full realization that I am literally responsible for every single thing that has ever happened to me in my entire life, good or bad. And this may sound very cliche, like you may have heard people speak on that, but when I tell you this, I am dead fucking serious that when you make communion with your higher self and you really want to become that powerful being, if you really want to embody that creature that you truly are, and step into that undoing the shells that have been layered over it and releasing it once again, you really go back into many epiphanies, and you understand all these traumas that you went through, and you see all these things that you've done, and you start to analyze all of it, and you start to realize every single thing was your doing. And I know those of you who are watching this right now, 99.9999999% of you think that there's something in your life that wasn't your fault. You think that, oh, this happened because this person did this, or I turned out this way because this person did this. I know this about whoever's watching this right now. I know this. You can't fool me. I know this, and you fucking know this down, deep down. So, by making that communion with the higher self, you have to literally shed your goddamn ego to such a degree. And this is a process. This can take months. For me, I've made communion. I've seen it in my mind's eye, but I'm still unlocking things about it. Like, I've just got chills. I'm still unlocking so much power about it, but and so much knowledge through it. But it's been months for me. Like, it's been like 4 months so far since I made that first contact with my higher self, and it took months to be able to unlock that. Ever since I started practicing, ever since I sat in the circle of magic and ritual for the first time, I want to say it took about almost a year for me to step into unlocking my higher self being. And prior to me stepping into that circle of magic, I've been through a lot of fucked up shit in my past. That's why I progressed very fast as soon as I got into it. So, yeah, it's been about a year since I first sat in the circle, did ritual for my first time, that I unlocked my higher self, and now I'm like 4 months, 5 months in, and I'm still, it's just touching the surface. The journey's just starting, but there was a certain specific ritual that I was doing based off my own spirit. No one told me to do it. It was all my own guiding. Like, my spirit guides were guiding me to do this. My higher self was telling me how to do it. And it was a scientific ritual that I would do consistently every single day for about a month, where I would go on into a certain garage called the 1111 Garage in Miami, and I would read off these certain mantras and chants that I wrote down myself, and sometimes I would prick my finger, I would prick my finger and put blood on it to open up that gateway furthermore, and I would read these mantras, these chants, these ends daily. I would go there daily. Keep in mind, I have a full-time job while I'm doing this. I'm making sure I have time to do this daily, sometimes twice daily. And I'm reading it, and every time I'm doing it, some days I'm doing it and I don't feel like doing it. There's days where I didn't want to go and I fucking went. And usually on those days I had massive awakenings of spiritual consciousness, meaning that I remember the day when I saw my higher self, like, clearly in my mind's eye, and it was so amazing. It was like, wow, it really pays off. But basically what I'm trying to say is it was a scientific ritual that I had to do consistently to unlock this ability within myself. But scientifically, no one told me about this. It was all spirit guides. It was all higher intelligences around me. That's why it's so important to trust your intuition when you do magic, when you do spirit work. You may get a certain gnosis that says, pick up this lighter right now and hold it in your right hand. Now I may tell you, light this incense right now. Okay, cool. And it's like little things like that. Just trust it. Don't ask questions. Well, why am I going to pick the lighter up? What am I going to do with it? Shut the fuck. Just follow it. But yes. So yeah, going back to the whole thing, like there's a science to it. That is the great work. Everyone wants to make that spiritual communion, but as I said, taking it full circle, to make that communion, you're going to have to understand yourself. You're going to have to learn how to navigate your own consciousness. It is not easy realizing I had a fucked up past. Now, realizing that I'm responsible for everything that was fucked up, that was done to me, was hard to embrace and embody, but I did. And I do realize that, and I continue to realize that. And as I move forward in my future and in my present moment, even, you know, now and ongoing, I realize that I'm responsible for every single thing I do and everything I create. There's no other force that's responsible for it, because I am in such power that I'm creating my reality just as you are. You just may not be aware of it. You may not be trying to be aware of it. That's why you're living a life that you don't want to live, because you're stuck and you're stagnating. So the big work, the great work, is achieving that communion with your higher self. Now, is it hard to do that? Absolutely. Is it simple to do it? Very simple. I can help you do it. Honestly, I can help you. But that's the great work. That's what Aleister Crowley was talking about. And once you achieve the great work, that's where the journey really begins. So I'm going to leave it there. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, because I'm posting videos every single day, and on my off days I'm posting 2 videos. Make sure you click the first link in my description. That's going to take you to my merch. It has massive symbols of power on it. I have the goddess Hecate. I have Lucifer's sigil. Merch is also really cool. It looks amazing. But it has certain symbols of power on it that I specifically and intentfully chose, that when you gaze at it, it charges it with a certain type of energy that you can harness and put into any direction or use it for whatever purposes that you want. So make sure you go check that out. Shirts are only like $25 all the way up to like $35. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to drop down in the comments, leave any questions, and I'll engage with you there, or feel free to add me on Instagram if you have any personal questions, and message me through my DM, and I will respond to you. Other than that, I'm going to wrap it up here. My name's Jeremiah, for those of you who don't know, and I love you guys. Peace.